Well then, this here's for you. I'm Micah and I welcome you to Forest Survival for the Beginners, Part 2, Fire. So today here on Forest Survival for Beginners, Part 2, Fire, I have a few items that I think will help you with a fire. Today I'm going to show you a few items. It's very dark here, but I'll show you in a bit. Don't think you can see it very well though. I have a few items here that I think will help your fire making skills very much, and I'll start showing you. Now I know there are lots of ways to make a fire. A bow drill, matches, lighter, fire piston, etc. Flint and steel, bow drill, whole bunch of stuff. There are a lot of ways to make a fire, but today I'm in Forest Survival for Beginners. I'm going to be using matches. They're the easiest of the group, easiest to make a fire with. And hey, if I'm just making a beginner thing, why go through all that extra thing to make a perfectly working bow drill or to buy a $300 fire piston, if you know what I mean? So I'm going to be making a fire in a bit. So for now, before I run out of darkness, as you can see here, it's very bright, but down here not as much, I'm afraid. I'm going to show you a few items what I have. So let's take a look here. The ground's very unstable, sadly. So the first thing I have here, it is intensely dark, but I'll just give you a zoom in to show you. Is some old man's beard. Old man's beard is basically a lichen, a moss that grows on trees. And when it dries, it's really easy. It's very dry and it easily lights when you put it with a spark, or if you put a straight flame to it, it lights very quickly. Next thing we have here is a stick covered with a different type of moss or lichen. I don't know what it's called though, but it's very papery. It grows on sticks and it will easily the fire will easily catch to it. And it's also a stick too, so it gives us a fair source of kindling. That's what we have. Next, we have, wow, it's too dark to see. I'll just move a bit. We have some pine cones. It is almost too dark to see, but we have some pine cones here. The thing with pine cones is, well, first off, they're cardboard-like substance. They're overlapping. Nice source for fuel, but also the pine resin, the pine sap that's stuck to it from the tree. Pine resin is very flammable, and that will easily light, so it'll make a miniature explosion a few times if you light that. The next thing we have here is a box of matches. I put it twice in plastic bags because I always keep it in my kit. And I want to keep it safe if I'm to get wet or something. If I have it, at least I have these with me to get a fire going. Matches. Easy. The next thing I have here, it's too dark to see actually, but it's a bramble-like thing that grows on trees. It's got a lot of very, very small branches that cluster together and make a whole bunch of a bramble-like thing. It's a full source for fire starting. It's the best thing ever. You'll find them. They grow on trees. They are amazing. And the last thing I have here, the holy of all holies when it comes to fire starting, birch bark. Birch bark, you can peel it straight off the trees. It's super easy, super flammable, and it is just rich in oils. Peel the birch bark off easily. It feels very soft, almost velvety under your skin. And it's just loaded with oils. And those oils are easily combustible, so when you put a flame to this, it just explodes. And that's it. That's all I have here. Now we'll go to a quick fire starting scene. Before we go to that, I just want to say to you that please be careful if you're going to be starting any fires. You should know that it's very dangerous starting fires if there's a fire ban or if it's too dark, if it's too hot or windy. But with the coming fall, school, yay! With the coming fall, it's going to get more cold, so I don't know what we should worry about with that. But you still want to look in wherever you're going to be planning to make a fire. Look if there's a fire ban. Check. You don't want to put your fire in a very dark place. So that's it, and now we'll go to our fire scene. So here we have our fire building set. We're gonna make a fire now, and what I have here is just a little bit of old man's beard. I have some birch bark peeled right off the tree. My thinnest layer of branches go under that, over that. Then I've got the thinner branches, and now I have the thicker branches. Here I have some medium-sized branches which will go once this fire is ready. And over here you can see that I have my thicker branches ready to go on top of that. So the fire here, what we're going to have is a fast-burning fire. So it's going to need a lot of fuel, but then what we're trying to reach the part where it's mostly embers and not as much flame. It'll pretty much eat anything at that stage. But right now it's going to be a fast-burning fire, so we need to have a lot of fuel ready until we're ready to collect some more. So let's get started. As you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3 matches, and those I'm going to be using. I know that I'm not going to be using one of those high-tech bow drill gizmo but hey, I like matches. They're quick, easy, and cheap. You can get a whole bunch of them. I keep mine in a waterproof bag in my survival kit, which I always carry whenever we're going to the forest. So let's get started. Good to light a few areas of your fire, so if one part goes out or doesn't catch, you have more. Good job, first try. Birch bark is the haven when you're trying to get a fire going. It lights practically when wet, and it's so rich in oils that it just combusts into flames. Just gonna move some more branches into it. Make sure to keep your matches away. And now all you want to do is feed the fire until it dies down, because this is the first stage of the fire, and it's going to die down soon, but right now, even though it looks like a really good fire, it will die down really fast, so we need to get a lot of fuel on it before it dies down enough. As you can see here, I'll just zoom in a bit. Oop. Well, for some reason at all, I can't zoom. Well, as you can see here, you might be able to, there's a few embers starting to form. The fire is dying down a bit, as more of a glow to it than first. 6 on fire. And it also helps if you're trying to use a fire that I'm using, which I use a teepee. It helps if you put the sticks that burned away here and stuff. It burns here in the middle where the fire is. Once it's died down, you can just take what's here and move it back into the fire. Saves as much fuel. And over here, just right about there, I have my little rock wall, which goes all around. That goes around and that reflects most of the heat back, so we only need to use like half the fuel. Ah, this is light.